intro is on. I say, what ho, Led Zeppelin fans. I am Brian, call me Magical Gardener, coming to you from Ramble on Tower's Dungeon Studios in scenic Casper, Ontario. This is Ramble on Radio, episode 34, the only dedicated Led Zeppelin podcast in this or any other known internets. Be sure to go to rambleonradio.com for all your Led Zeppelin news, any links I might mention during the show. So, I have to tell you this, the last week's been a bit of a clusterstop. And I had a plan. And you know, remember the A-Team? I love it when a plan comes together. I hate it when a plan doesn't come together. So I had a plan. Last weekend I interviewed Samantha and Clem Dallaway, the founders of the John Bonham Memorial Fund. That was on Friday. This is Monday, September 3rd. It's Tuesday, September 3rd, whatever. Day after Labor Day. So, I mean, the original schedule would have had me running this weekend, so I'm only a day or two behind that, but I had an idea. And so once I interviewed Sam and Clem, I thought there was enough information, I'm going to do the podcast. I'd do it last weekend, get it out there, get it together, roll it, and then do one next weekend on Saturday, which was the 45th anniversary of the very first Led Zeppelin show as the New Yardbirds in Gladsaxe, Denmark. And of course they're doing the plaque presentation. They raised the money for the plaque. We've talked about that before. All sorts of good things happening with that. And it seemed like and maybe I would try and get some interviews going. You know, those guys would be in the mood to interview, right? So I was thinking maybe I could do some interviews really close to the date and do a dedicated episode, just that. I would have to say that's not going to work now. I got 4 days to organize it, script it, organize it, put it together. And I have barely had time to do this one. I'm literally holding off the hordes at the door while I do. Well, okay, I'm not literally holding the hordes off at the door, but this is an hour I don't have. and you know what's been really screwing me up is the great idea I had, put this on YouTube. Which I'm going to keep trying to do, but I got the Samantha and Clem Dallaway interview. I had it screen captured, so I got a nice video of it. It doesn't say, you'll hear it today, by the way. It doesn't sound great, but editing this thing. Bottom line, I was able to edit it the way I wanted. I wanted to get the personal information off the screen, and I wanted to cut before the interview. There's some chitty chatty moments, right? And so I wanted to cut that, and I did all that, and then it wouldn't save. The program wouldn't export it, wouldn't save it, wouldn't do anything for it, and I still haven't figured it out. I've tried 3 different programs. I still can't do those stupid things, and they're simple, stupid things. So listen, if you're watching this thing on YouTube, and when I go, okay, now we're going to the interview, and we go to the interview, if the interview doesn't show up, it's because I ran out of my house screaming at frustration. And did you hear it in my voice? I didn't even realize I was that frustrated until I started talking about it. Okay, so a couple of weeks back, I have to tell you this. A couple of weeks back, I'm at a dinner party where, and I brought a bottle of wine. Bought my last bottle. The wife goes in charge of wine. This dinner party, we do them occasionally with friends, and everybody brings a dish, and it's supposed to be higher end cooking. I'm the cook, so I'm cooking. So what can the wife do? She says, okay, we need a bottle of red wine, we need a bottle of white wine. No problem, she says, we have red wine and we have white wine. No, we don't. We may have white wine, we don't have red wine. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure of it. No, we don't. Can you please go get red wine? So, time comes to go to the party. Out she pulls a bottle of mead. I want to say mead, but it's not. But it's a winter wine, and you're supposed to drink it warm and heated up. It's not a party wine. Read the label, for crying out loud, I say. It's not the right wine. Well, we have this other bottle of wine. Now she pulls this bottle of wine that's open and 3/4 drank. Yeah, the host will appreciate this bottle of wine. Well, we have this one, the last red bottle of wine, the Fulkerson's red wine, my Fulkerson's red Zeppelin. The only red wine we have in the house. So, I was kind of saving it for, I don't know, some stupid occasion or another. I don't know what. But I thought something would come up, you know. So, we take the Fulkersons to the party and open the bottle. A friend of mine looks at it and laughs. Says, "That you had to bring that." And then he says, "Well, let's try it." He opens it, tries it. Wow, this is a really nice wine. And I'm kind of a bit surprised because it was a good wine. It wasn't a great wine. He's going, "Oh, I really like this." So pour me a glass. And the thing was, when it was a year ago when I got it, it was kind of an acidic wine. And that would be, it was tasted all right. It was nice, but it had a bit of acidic to it. You know that feeling? Well, it was gone. The acidity was gone. A year sitting, it had mellowed a lot, and it really was a nice bottle of wine. So anyway, I was actually been checking. They don't sell red Zeppelin wine anymore. It's an actual airship red. I've talked about it enough times. That's Fulkerson's. They're at Seneca Lake on Route 14, 5 minutes north of Watkins Glen, and I have no more left, so I won't be talking about them because they're not paying me for this. Well, listen, you make your way in, talk to them about Led Zeppelin, tell them about me talking about them. Okay, I mentioned last time I had seen Dave Lewis when I was in England, and Dave gave me some stuff. And for you people on YouTube, I now show the 2 magazines Dave gave me. And I told you last week, anybody who wants them, just let me know you want them. One each, there's one each. They're the last 2 episodes, I think they're the last 2. This one's really, but yeah, I think it's 30, 32, and 33. Or 33 and 35, maybe. So, this is the last episode, last one. It does have the Robert Plant Special Edition picture inside. And I kind of suggested if you're not sure if you'd like Type It Loose or not, maybe you want this. I would say at this nobody wanted either. So if you want it, whether you plan on ordering Type It Loose or not, whether you plan on whatever, if you just would like to have a copy of it, let me know. If I don't hear in the next couple of days, then I will one at a time. I will do a Twitter thing. I'll do a retweet this. I'll do a link. I'll do a promo for the show, and I got the 2 of them, and I want to get them to people. I do. Furthermore, whilst I was there, I bought some T-shirts off them. T-shirts are only £10, which is a nice price. They're a nice shirt. But when you stick them in the envelope and mail them across the Atlantic Ocean, they start getting pricier. So I decided while I was seeing him, when I talked to him, I said, "Well, bring me a T-shirt, extra large for me. Although I'm losing some weight, so I'm shrinking. It fits nicely right now. It fits a little better than nice after having shrunk a bit. But I also said, bring me a large, and I will give it away in the show." So I didn't do it last time because I wanted to do the 2 magazines. I wanted to stretch this over, but here it is. It's the same as the one I'm wearing, by the way, guys. I have to stand up to show the people on YouTube. There's the shirt. It's a large. It's not an extra large. It's a large, and I have to figure out which way this goes. Tight but loose. There's also a Jimmy Page one that was older, in white and Jimmy Page on the side. I got one of those as well, but just for me. But yeah, that was older. He didn't have that many of those. So there you go. Led Zeppelin, not just a band. Type It Loose, the Led Zeppelin magazine. I have a T-shirt to give away. If you would like the T-shirt, email me. Say, I would like the T-shirt. And sometime, I don't have to do a big official prizey thing because I bought the T-shirt out of my own pocket. So I'll do, if I get 1 person, that person gets it. If I get 10 people, then I'll do the same thing as I did the last contest, which is I'll random generate a number. If you would like it, just send me an email, said I'd like the T-shirt. I'll put your name down, and I'll do the draw. I'll randomly generate a number sometime in the next 2 weeks is all I will say at this stage. I don't know if it'll probably be around the time when I do the podcast. That night I'll probably say, okay, I'll do it. I don't see me making a big to-do out of it like I did the last one, but we'll get the T-shirt out to somebody. That would be nice. So if you want it. Hey, this is the first time I got nothing on Jimmy. I always something story. I mean, I told you last time I had nothing, and I moved them to the bottom of the pile, and then 2 or 3 things happened. I got nothing. There's a couple of stories. There's a story that kind of originates from Jimmy Page's people, from Satan LLB Esquire, and the law firm of. But that is really it. Other than, and there was reports, Led Zeppelin News Twitter account reported that he's been seen around town, that would be London, and not been in a good mood. People have been approaching him saying, "Oh, could I have an autograph?" And it's not gone well. So Jimmy's in a bad mood. Speculation is the pressure's on to get the reissues out. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of speculation that the first 4 albums have apparently, the previous issues have been pulled. It's kind of a stop sell order happens, or something like that within the industry. And it's pretty standard to get those discs off the shelf. The first 4 albums are getting hard to find in stores, is what's happening apparently. And that is something that's standard business when reissues are coming out, when they're redoing it. They don't want you going to the store now and spending $10 on the disc, on the old remaster, when a month and a half from now you can go and spend $25 on a remaster. That's what happens. So the rumor is the first 4 will be out by Christmas, but that's literally comes from speculation. And again, the speculation is the pressure's on Jimmy. He's feeling the pressure to get those done, and therefore he's being grumpy. Jimmy Page, who'd have thought? All right, Robert Plant turned 65 on August 20th. Happy birthday, Robert. And I wrote a little piece. I wonder if I can find this quickly. I wrote a little piece kind of saying happy birthday to Robert. Oh man, it's not going well here. My computer's acting really funny. Really, really funny. I don't even know what to, yeah, funny. It's 20th. There we go. I just jumped over it. All right, so here's what I wrote. As a young man, Robert Plant took some training in accountancy. It didn't take, and he soon packed it in. A few years ago, he told a BBC documentary after his son Carrick died of viral infection in 1977, he considered becoming a teacher. Last week at a Twitter Q&A, Plant said, if he didn't become a singer, he would have become a marriage counselor. But the truth is, Plant is a singer, a troubadour, and has always been so. The likelihood is that had Plant not become Led Zeppelin's golden god, he would still be a singer, still be a working musician. It is who and what he is. Today is his 65th birthday, the day he becomes eligible for Social Security and the Denny's Seniors discount. It is worth noting that it's far more likely to take advantage of the latter as he travels America singing for his supper than the former. Retirement just doesn't seem to be on Plant's radar. So happy birthday, Robert Plant, not for the Viking Whale or the delicate beauty of That's the Way, not for 3 minor blues masterpieces or the grandiosity of Kashmir, not for the solo years of the Page of Plant reunions. City Don't Cry being an absolute favorite, not for the 2007 for the Union or for finding the big voice in his recent incarnation. Happy birthday for all of it, for the stuff that you seared into my soul and the stuff I may never listen to again. Love much of it, some maybe not so much, but you can't help but respect where it all came from. And who else can say that after a 40-plus year career? Happy birthday, Robert Plant. Keep on rambling. And I just read it out because I kind of, still somewhat feel that way, I would say. I think it says it better than anything I can sit here and say. He's really had a varied career. He's a singer. He's not an accountant. He's not any of that other stuff. He just isn't. He was always going to be a singer. He may never have been. Let's put it this way: he could retire now and not think twice about it. He could very easily be in the position where he would still have to be singing, where he would still have to be working. He could be, Delbert McClinton, to name a guy I like, who just has had a nice career without ever hitting the big time. Lots of guys have done that, right? Could have easily been Robert Plant, and you just feel about him that it's in him, and he was going to be that one way or another. Anyway, he spent August 20th, touring Wales with his wife, with his children, and did I read ex-wife somewhere? I don't know. But anyway, with his children and grandchildren, I think is what it was. He spent it touring Wales. He posted a few pictures on his Instagram account, including there was a blue moon that night, which is very unusual. I don't think it's... Is that even possible that on the August 20th you have a blue moon? I thought a blue moon meant the second full moon of the month. And a moon runs through a 28-day cycle, not a 20. Anyway, he also took some pictures of the Misty Mountains. And I'll not even try to... He mentioned an area. I'll not even try. And that, of course, was a week before he headed out on a little mini tour of the UK. He was in Ireland at a festival this weekend. He was in Bristol, I think it was, and then last night in London. And David, we were talking about Dave Lewis there. Dave Lewis was at the first gig in Bristol. Met up with a crew, etc., etc. Had a few, and Dave is has obviously, as he always does, has done an excellent, extreme coverage of the show. And apparently he was quite good again this weekend. And his shows have been very good the last little while. You know what I haven't checked? I haven't checked if they were released live. I'm not going to do that right now. But okay, the Freddie Mercury tribute concert is coming to DVD and Blu-ray near you. You might remember this from April 20th, 1992. It featured a number of artists singing Queen songs with Queen, plus a few that came out on their own. Or they sang songs with Queen. But it was a tribute concert to Freddie Mercury, so there's a lot of Queen music and there was other stuff. Robert Plant came out, did Innuendo, with a partial Kashmir in there, and he also did Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and the intro was Thank You. It was an AIDS benefit, by the way. It happened at Wembley Stadium, 92. I remember watching it live here on Much Music TV here in Canada. And actually, one recollection of it was extreme, was really, really good. They did a Queen, a bunch of Queen songs, including, I think it was Love of My Life. And they just, to my mind at the time, they stole it. They were brilliant. They were so good. It was originally released in VHS after the show. Excuse me. And if you're on YouTube, you just got spitter all over the camera. It was released in, it did not include Innuendo in the original VHS. In DVD form in 2002. It was released in DVD form in 2002. Again, it did not include Innuendo, this time at Plant's request. So we don't know what's going to be on this. I assume both Innuendo and Crazy Little Thing Called Love will be on this, but we don't know. We just don't know. It's maybe time for a complete, eh? Okay, John Paul Jones has been kind of busy for a guy who's writing an opera. Yeah, he's been kind of busy, and you heard a few clips from he did a Polar Music Talks. Led Zeppelin won the Polar Music Awards a couple of years back, 2011, I think. So it's the Polar Music Prize, and he did a question and answer with the laureates, with the 2013 laureates. And again, he is a past laureate himself. During the 40, it was a 40-minute, and there was two other people, and he was just shooting off questions, and they answered. But occasionally, within the question-answer format, he would make a few statements of his own. You heard a couple of them in the intro. And the intro, by the way, that was Dave Matthews Band playing Kashmir, and we're going to roll it on the outro too. But Dave Matthews Band plays Kashmir. Got that? And it was all right. It's not bad. And I'm afraid the recording I have of it is lousy, so you kind of hear it. But anyway, here's a couple of the things that Jonesy said when he, just as he was commenting. When I was young, I always wanted to play every instrument. Then I realized I couldn't. I think that's when I started thinking about composition more. I'd write for people who could. I was a church organist. My father was a fantastic pianist, and I couldn't compete, so I took up the organ. I always hear what's wrong with a piece of music before I hear what's right. On critics, he says, some critics you come to respect. Sometimes they get it right, and sometimes they pick on something you kind of knew you weren't perhaps happy with. And you go, right. Note to self. There's music everywhere, in shops and public places. I find myself arranging things all the times. I'm writing an opera, and I've just come to the end of the first act, and it's like, it's the Holy Grail. The rest is going to be easy, I'm sure. That was said with a laugh, by the way. But they were talking about how difficult writing an opera is. On the question of how does he relax, I play instruments I'm not usually associated with, like fiddle and banjo. I see my grandchildren. And you heard them talking about, he say fiddle and banjo, and I see my grandchildren in the intro. And on the best way to get inspiration, the inspiration is not the difficult thing, it's what to do with it afterwards. And the best way to realize that is to switch off the internet, to get away from it and find some time to realize it. That's John Paul Jones at the Polar Music Talks, the questioning the laureates and whatnot. And that was about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago maybe. He also performed at the V Festival in the UK and the Lowlands Festival in the Netherlands with C6 Steve. That would have been a week and a bit ago. There's a story about from the V Festival, and this came from Led Zeppelin News, of a boy wearing a Nirvana t-shirt walked up to say hi to him, and he says, hey, cool t-shirt. There you go. I guess he's a Nirvana fan. He played at the Oya Festival in Oslo Friday with Super Silent. And there's a news clip. And if you go to rambleonradio.com, I got all these clips. I got all these videos. There's a news clip from the time. It's in Dutch. There's like this news clip in Dutch, but then they got interview bits with him. He doesn't say much. Talks about how he joined Super Silent, which we've heard before. But that is what it is. And finally... and he's touring Britain with Super Silent. So that was the Oslo Festival was with Super Silent. The video clip was from that, the news clip. Now he's touring Britain with Super Silent. You want to go see John Paul Jones? November 14th in the Birmingham Town Hall, 15th in Glasgow, the Arches, 16th in Manchester, RNCM, 17th at Bristol, Arnolfini, 18th at the London Village Underground. If you're in the area, I would go. It's not going to be Led Zeppelin music. You know that, right? It's... they get on stage and go and decide what to play. The way he describes it in the news clip is they don't discuss what they're going to play beforehand, which is better than the other description, I think, which was we don't know. But last year on September 16th, Jones, we talked about it here, he played at the Sunflower Super Jam. It was put together by the guys in Deep Purple. And this year was a dedication to John Lord. He had died about a month or so earlier. And it was September 16th. And he kind of played bass through a lot of it. But it involved members of Deep Purple. Alice Cooper sang a song. Brian May was there. Jones, he did Rock and Roll with Alfie Boe, if you remember. The opera singer. And anyway, it's going to be released on DVD, Blu-ray DVD, on September 16th, 2013. And you can pre-order it now from sunflowersuperjam.com, or I'm offhand couldn't tell you their website, but I have it on they have a promotional video out for it, and again you can see that you can see the promotional video at rambleonradio.com. The Sunflower Jam, I think it's the sunflowerjam.com or something. Funny enough, I don't have the direct link, but yeah, if you go to pick through the page, you'll find it. It's there. Okay, I mentioned to you, I talked to Samantha and Clem Dallaway of the John Bonham Memorial Fund. Somewhere I have some notes, and they talk about they're trying to get a statue raised in Bristol, which is it Bristol? Oh, look at me screwing it up, eh? Wow, this is a biggie too. Redditch, sorry, they're in Redditch. Bristol is where Robert Plant played, by the way. They're in Redditch, John Bonham's hometown of Redditch. And Samantha and Clem are husband and wife. Yeah. And I talked to them. They had they had the Guinness flying. But they did fine. They weren't all liquored up or anything. The problem was I recorded it for video. A video recorded it as well. And the audio comes off that. And you know what? It doesn't sound great. So you're going to have to fight a bit through this. She sounds fine. He sounds really hard to tell, hard to hear what he says. But I'm going to get it in here anyway. A couple of things. So it's in Redditch. They have copies of Mick Bonham's book, John Bonham, the powerhouse behind Led Zeppelin. And they will be, but they're not really officially kind of selling anything. They don't have the website up and running. They don't have the PayPal account up and running. Just because there's a pile of, because they're a not-for-profit fundraiser, they are, there's a pile of red tape. There's all the accounting and legalistic. And she points out in there, it's really a bit silly. But, you know, there's enough people use these things to rip people off. To, let's do a John Bonham Fund and F off with the money. And it's not that I think they're going to do that, but that's why they have to do the red tape, right? Is because somebody has done such things before. And so the people who are trying to do good, they ultimately have to pay for the people who do bad in more ways than one. And all the red tape you have to go through just to raise some money to put a statue in town. For the record, one of the things I was curious about, and they brought it up fairly quickly, is the town council in Redditch is on board with them. If they can raise the money, they can put up the statues. There's not going to be a case of raise the money and then, you know, build the statue, go to put it down and get told no. And they're looking to build, they're not sure what they're looking to build in terms of a statue. It could be a brass, it could be a marble, some sort of stone. They don't. It really depends on how much money they raise. They're looking for £50,000 in 12 months. They're looking to raise it in the next year, but they'll keep going as long as they keep going. And one of the plans is it's in the church green area of Redditch, and one of the things they're looking to do is a concrete drum set, you know, with it, so that you could sit at it, have your picture taken with it, that sort of thing. Anyway, that's I'm summing up the interview in a large part. And I'll talk about it a little more when we're done. But here is Samantha and Clem Dallaway, the founders of the John Bonham Memorial Fund, explaining what it is they're doing and why. Okay, on YouTube, if you see this bit on YouTube and not the interview, then I was unable to get it happen. Period. End of story. Was unable to make it happen, and therefore, I will get it posted. I'll do it. Promise. I'll get the interview on the video. Look for it. But if it's, but I'm going to give this. This is going to end up being a few days later and stuff, and you know, it's really kind of hard to do both. To move files to talk to you. But I don't want you to be too bored while you're sitting around waiting for me. So, I will just see. We'll do that, and we're going to press play and see how it sounds. Sounds good so far. Let's go backwards and make sure how... okay. Okay, so it's in. So again, if you're seeing me doing this stuff instead of I'm going to go back to this. And so if you see me doing this stuff instead of the video, look for the interview. It's there, and I apologize. I'm really having a hard time with I should be talking to the screen now, right? I'm really having a hard time with the video editing part. And I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so we're coming back in like 3, 2. Screwed that up. Big time. All right, that was Samantha and Clem Dallaway. While you were listening to that, I've been having a private conversation with people on YouTube. So Shh, don't. Guys on YouTube, don't tell them what we're talking about. So the stories there, they have the books in hand now. I have passed my address on, but I haven't heard back from them on that. However, as I've kind of been trying to point out, I'm really kind of super busy. And my just ability to communicate with people is really compromised right now. But I did pass that along. Maybe it's in the mail. Maybe it's coming today. I don't know. That'd be great because I finished my Led Zeppelin-ish book, and so I need something else. So they're planning, as you note, they have the books on hand. They're eventually planning on selling T-shirts as well. They will put together a PayPal account. They'll have a website. You can donate. I will certainly be. I'll be putting in for whatever the book, if they send it. I will certainly be dropping money in their account immediately for the book. Plus, I'll probably do a few more, and I'll buy a T-shirt and stuff. And I might, maybe I'll talk to them about. Well, you're not looking to get a deal from a charity, are you? But maybe what I'll talk to them about is if I can get an extra T-shirt slipped into the postage, and I'll give one away here, or raffle it, do a North America raffle of one. We'll see. I think that was it. I've kind of covered everything. Their father, was it Clem's father, used to work with John. Did you pick up that? He was in the background of the interview, right? But Clem's father actually used to work with John Bonham. So they knew him. I asked them if I wondered about, if I was a politician in Redditch, I'd be tempted to say, wait a minute, this guy's not exactly a moral, upstanding human being. Why are we putting a statue to him? Now, I have no problems with the statue personally. I was in Dublin recently, and I went to see the statue of Phil Lynott, who, by the way, is not still. It got broken the week before I showed up. Some drunk jumped on it and broke it, so it wasn't there. But they have a statue to Phil Lynott. Nobody says, "Oh, wait a minute, he drank himself to death." Or for that matter, they have a statue of Oscar Wilde with pillars of quotes of Oscar Wilde. And let's face it, Oscar Wilde. And don't read anything into what I just said. The way I said it, I like Oscar Wilde. I think he's one of the great playwrights. And if you ever get to Dublin, the statue of Oscar Wilde is fabulous. It's so flamboyant. He's wearing like a purple smoking jacket, sitting on a rock, casually laying back. It's one of the best statues you'll ever see. So anyway, they're trying to raise $50,000. And good luck to them. And I'll let you know when I have the book. I will review it. When I have the links, I will let you know. I think this is a great cause, and I want to help them out. Jason Bonham finished his tour. This past weekend, they finished their Heart tour, the Heartbreakers tour. And I actually found a show online, but I haven't listened to it yet. So I have it downloaded. I have not listened to it, but by all accounts, they were really good. It was a really good show. So congratulations to them. And we'll see what's next for them. There's talk that they've already been recording. They've been talking for almost 2 years now that there's been writing, and so I think we can maybe expect something like that. And as I mentioned before, Stephen LeBlanc is out. Don't know who's in. Maybe by the next episode, I'll get a hold of James Dillon and ask him some questions about what's going on over there. The Man of Steel as well. The Man of Steel, remember Jason Bonham did the kind of the drum circle thing on the Man of Steel soundtrack. It's been released in a deluxe edition. If you go to rambleonradio.com, you can find the link, but it's out there if you want to get the soundtrack to Man of Steel. All right. The official website, there's some of the stuff sometimes comes up, and I'm never sure how to make of it, but the official website had some pictures of the Salt Lake City show, March 26, 1970, Salt Lake City show. And I'm not sure why that's so rare, but apparently it's the first ever pictures of that show. And they're up on the official website. don't have the link on the website, I don't think. But they're there if you look for them. Everybody's kind of talking about them a bit. It's kind of fun. It's always fun looking at those 1970 kind of pictures, isn't it? I just did something I didn't want to do. Okay, here we are. We're still recording. That's what counts. All right, Classic Rock Magazine are in the middle of doing a countdown of the top 50 Led Zeppelin songs. Top 50. And they're at 28 now, so almost halfway through. And here's the list from 50 downwards. And it's almost hold on to your socks time sometimes. 50, For Your Life. 49, The Song Remains the Same. 48, In the Evening. 47, Good Times, Bad Times. 46, 10 Years Gone. 45, The Wonton Song. 44, Your Time Is Gonna Come. 43, All My Love. 42, Houses of the Holy. 41, Thank You. 40, Custard Pie. 39, Since I've Been Loving You. I repeat, 39th best song, Since I've Been Loving You. 38, In the Light. 37, The Rain Song. 36, Four Sticks. 35, Braun Yarstop. 34, The Ocean. 34, The Rover. 33, The Ocean. 32, You Shook Me. 31, The Battle of Evermore. 30, Fool in the Rain. 29, Celebration Day. 28, Nobody's Fault But Mine. Quick question. Name another band that Fool in the Rain is not top 3. Name another band that, realistically, The Song Remains the Same, Good Times, Bad Times. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 songs I have listed that would be in the top 10 of any other band I can think of. Maybe excluding the Stones, the Beatles, and the Who. I'm not so sure about the Who. But if they did one of these songs, it's in their top 10. Guaranteed. Anybody else? Dave Matthews Band, Song Remains the Same, is a top 10 song. The Foo Fighters, Good Times, Bad Times, is a top 10 song. Okay, get the game? So here's the songs. The Song Remains the Same, Good Times, Bad Times, 10 Years Gone, The Wonton Song, All My Love, Houses of the Holy, and Custard Pie are all in the 40 to 50 slots. Again, Custard Pie, Houses of the Holy, All My Love, The Wonton Song, 10 Years Gone, Good Times, Bad Times, The Song Remains the Same. Those are 40 to 50 slots. Name the band. Name the other band that All My Love doesn't qualify as a top 5. Name the other band that Good Times, Bad Times, or 10 Years Gone doesn't qualify as a top 5. Okay, from the 30 to 40 slots. Fool in the Rain, Battle of Evermore, The Ocean, The Rover, In the Light, Since I've Been Loving You at 39. I can't get over that one. Now, I may disagree with that slotting Since I've Been Loving You, but I seriously, name the other band that's not a top 5 song. It's just so I will do the next one as we go. I will continue keeping up on this. It should be fun. The top 10 should be fun. To me, Fool in the Rain, Battle of Evermore, and Since I've Been Loving You are top 10 songs of any band, including Led Zeppelin. And The Song Remains the Same if you're including the live version. But so that's an astounding list, and I'll transfer it over to the others to the next one, so we can do the full list when the time comes. Okay, we've talked before about Jeff Kulik's movie. Led Zeppelin played here. He's had 2 more screenings at the Creative Alliance in Baltimore on August 22nd, and the AFI Silver Springs in Maryland on August 30th. If you got to any of these screenings or any of the other screenings, I would really like to hear how this movie is. Let me know. Please let me know. Get in contact with me. If you've talked to the filmmaker at these movies, I'd love to hear from you. Okay. German promoter Fritz Rau died at 83. He just was basically a rock promoter in Germany and promoted a number of kind of Northern European tours, including a number of the Zeppelins, including the last one, Over Europe, 1980. There is I have a little note here. Sometimes I have notes, I have a little note here of a new bootleg off the reels, but I can't recall where it's from. But there is a new bootleg out there. It's a you know what it was? It's one of the San Francisco 69 San Francisco shows, August 24th or August 21st or something like that. One of those shows, the early August. And I keep editing. I got my script in both here and here, so I can back and forth to the mic. Try and be interesting like they do in the news. And I keep editing on my computer as I go, and it's screwing up the one on my iPad. Which is actually fairly impressive when you think about it, isn't it? Okay. I picked up this book called What You Want Is in the Limo by a fellow called Michael Walker. It's a book about, and I only finished reading it last night, and actually one of the reasons I put off doing the show for a couple of days, because I wanted to get this read as much as I could, and I did finally finish reading it last night. What You Want Is in the Limo by Michael Walker. It's about, and here, if you're on YouTube, I'm holding up my iPad just now. It's, of course, not the way it's supposed to go, and the screen resolution is poor. But I wonder if I do it this way. If I go into night mode, how would that look for you? Is that better? Yeah, it actually is, isn't it? Yeah. So there you go. There's the night mode picture. What You Want Is in the Limo. Author of Laurel Canyon, by the way, Michael Walker. And it's about the 3 tours, 1973 tours. On the road, it says, on the road with Led Zeppelin, Alice Cooper, and The Who in 1970, the year the 60s died and the modern rock star was born. And, So the tours, he talks about 73 being seminal for these kinds of tours that before that, like, this is the year they started using planes. This is the year that these big tours became big money makers as well. This is the year that the kind of born that rock star image that lasted for, well, up until now in a way. In 1969 and 1970, that sort of thing, there was no great barrier between the artist and the artist and the audience. And by 73, there was this barrier. By 73, Showco was involved. They were putting up big PAs. They had the lights. They were starting to use the lights. And we see that in Led Zeppelin for sure. The 73 is kind of the first one. They brought a big show on the road. Before that, they didn't even have a drum riser before that, right? And I think 75 is the first tour they actually used a drum riser. So it all changes. But it's not a book about, like, it's not a book about the rowdiness of the road, or although that's certainly a part of it. Especially, this guy seems a little fixated on groupies, to be honest with you. But outside of that, it's really about the cultural upheaval that happens within the music industry at the time. 73 was almost a peak year for music in terms of coming out of the 60s and all these bands and the great music. And he makes a list somewhere on here. I wonder if I marked it. Oh, no, I missed it. But he makes a list of music that came out in 73, and you go, oh, it's breathtaking, the number of classic great music that was happening, the number of bands that were on tour that were just, oh my, that summer, it's an oh my god. He lists about 20 or 30 bands that are crisscrossing the U.S. that summer, including Led Zeppelin on their House of the Holy tour, Alice Cooper, the original Alice Cooper band at their absolute peak, doing the $1 Billion Babies tour, and they would break up soon thereafterwards. Alice would go on to do Welcome to My Nightmare a year or so later, and the Who's Quadrophenia tour. So it's kind of it's a cultural discussion, and it was extremely interesting. What You Want Is in the Limo, again, it's called. I would pick it up and read it if you're looking for something to read. It's quite good, quite enjoyable, especially if you like music at that time. I found this quote. I found a quote that I thought was interesting, and I marked it. This is Robert Plant. I remember that tour rather like a flash. This is 73 tour, of course. Real fast. Lots of battles and conquests and the din of the hordes. So much happened in such a short time. It was phenomenal. There were no breaks. We couldn't stop what was happening. We had no idea what it even was. And it was the line that struck me was, we couldn't stop what was happening. There were no breaks. It was phenomenal. There were no breaks. And of course, we've been through this. My pet theory on why Robert Plant won't reunite Led Zeppelin is what I call the Zeppelin machine gets rolling. That whole big thing gets rolling. And it just, he goes, oh no, and backs away. And you know, that language that he uses there, we couldn't stop what was happening. I think is symptomatic of him, of that attitude he has. Anyway, it's a good show. It's a good book. I'm going to go back to no, I just screwed it up. I'm going to go back and show the cover again, because that's the good kind of guy I am. What You Want is in the Limo. There you go, folks. By Michael Walker. I'd give it I would read it. I would read it for sure. Well, I did read it, but you know, I read it for you, and now you can read it. Okay, and now it's time to bring it on home. And again, on YouTube, you are going to be seeing this, and I apologize sincerely. And one of the things I have to figure out how to do is get these audio clips. And this one I have to trim down, you know, because I have it actually too much. I have it on the too much going on, you know. There we go. It comes like here. I'm just doing a little editing here for you guys on YouTube. Just a little editing to make the world a better place. And and we're bringing it on home. This turned up on. There's been a couple of things on eBay lately, including a promotional Zeppelin blimp that the record company put out at one point. But this one here is, this came up, was a Babe I'm Gonna Leave You, Days of Confused, promotional 7-inch mono 45. It was in Britain. It came up on eBay and it sold for £1,954.77, or in US dollars, $3,051.99. Let's call it $3,052, shall we? That was the winning bid. 23 people bid on this. Sorry, the location was in Washington. Snohomish, Washington, not Britain. Sorry. So that's a mono RPM of Babe I'm Gonna Leave You, Days of Confused. Pull out your checkbook, folks, if you want stuff like this. $3,000. And that's it, folks. Thanks for listening to Ramble on Radio, episode 34. Check out rambleonradio.com for notes on this week's podcast, Led Zeppelin news and reviews, any links mentioned in today's podcast. Follow Ramble on Radio on Facebook, Google+, and at Ramble on Blog on Twitter. Thanks for listening to Ramble on Radio. Don't forget to send money to Clem and Sam Dallaway when they have everything up and going. And I will talk to you in 2 weeks' time. Meanwhile, I'm going to outro with a little bit more of Kashmir from the Dave Matthews Band. Ciao. And hey guys, they're all gone now. So on YouTube, thanks for putting up with my pitiful ability to edit. And if you want to hear all the other stuff in between, go to iTunes, download the thing. go to the website. I do a link direct to the actual podcast, and you can just listen to it online. You can throw it on like it's a radio station online. You can do that. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.